Recently, my friends took part in a marathon through London, and from the sidelines, the city seemed to sort of come together, and it made running seem actually fun. And I like fun. Fun is fun. So I was inspired to tie up my laces and give it a go myself. I mean, everybody seems to be doing a marathon these days. So today I've decided I'm just gonna do it, without any training, on my own. How hard can it be? So I thought, why not find out? The weather was nice, I felt good. Everything was in my favour.
That doesn't bode well. It's literally, oh my god, it's actually just in the water. Right, well, if that's not a sign of things to come, I don't know what is. Anywho, Jesus Christ.
And so I was underway, embarking on something I'd never done nor trained to do. Thousands upon thousands of people ran a marathon here in the days prior. So how hard could it be? I even got to choose my own route. No crowds, no distractions, no one in my way to stop me.
Fancy joining?
No. What the hell are you doing?
Running a marathon. What do you mean?
Oh my god, who's doing it?
I literally just started, and about 5 steps in, well, I should let you know I started with a hat. And I also started on Tower Bridge.
No way.
Right, see you in a bit. Oh, I've got plenty of those just implemented on my journey. Friends, that is, not knowns. That's first 2k done. Not feeling too bad. But I mean, I think it'd be a real worry if I was feeling bad after 2k.
So it was going well, but there was still 40 kilometres to go. I'd barely made a dent in my day of running. But that wasn't going to dampen my spirits. Nothing was going to stop me.
Oh no, I don't have to run. Oh no.
But even with a face full of selfie stick, I was eating up tarmac like nobody's business. You know, whilst I wouldn't say I was enjoying running, I was glad I didn't have to do months of training beforehand. But as I was coming up to 7,000 metres, I had my first blip.
I'm gonna walk off a stitch that I've managed to obtain. Also, the whole backside of my right calf is really starting to hurt. Also, I've realised no form of supplementation, no stretching beforehand. Why am I doing this to myself?
I mean, it's a valid question I've asked myself. I mean, I've run a marathon drunk, I've run a marathon of tough mudders, I've even been running from streaming for the last 6 months. But none were literally just running, because I hated the idea of that. So seeing the celebrations after the London Marathon, honestly, I got a bit of FOMO. So I wanted to challenge myself once and for all, and see why so many people do it. But more importantly, if I could do it.
That's 10k done. I do not feel good, man.
See, something this attractive chap has failed to take into consideration is that preparation for a marathon isn't just about being fit.
Otherwise he'd be killing it.
Take his namesake, for example. Putting him in a rocket ship is all well and good. But what if he never came into the pits? Without a refuel along the way, it doesn't matter how quick you're moving if you're going to roll to a stop. Something that sexy running George is going to find out even sooner on a hot sunny day in a long black t-shirt. Interesting choice.
Right, so this is harder than I thought it would be. 10k, I know I can do. I've just done it. If I were to go home now, I'd be like, do you know what? That was all right. It's the fact that I know I've got 3 more of them to do and a little extra step. I'm boiling. I've got nothing underneath this. And no, I'm not taking it up. Taking it up. Next mission, find shop, revitalise, and then carry on. Back to you in the studio.
But why has he said that? Just go back to him stopping to refuel.
Right, I've got an assortment of things, all of which I'm sure are absolutely awful for me. That's just giving me PTSD, that one.
Look, I'll be honest, I didn't know what I needed. I knew I was dehydrated and I needed energy, but the best way to deal with that quickly, I was not prepared for. And all I could think of whilst I was consuming the nonsense that I'd bought was what else hadn't I thought of? Oh, and
God, I hate running.
But I carried on anyway, and as I got further and further out of the city, I realised that despite my stops and my walking breaks, which I could no longer blame on tourists, I was actually making decent time, and I was creeping up on halfway.
Just walked the last kilometre, just to get my breath back. Yet to find the enjoyment that people get out of this. Good and bad news. Good news is, we are now 4 kilometres away from halfway, and I feel like once you cross halfway, it feels mentally easier. Bad news, my watch is now on 3%. Oh, I've definitely got a bad blister on my left foot. My left heel is in pain. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, this hurts. It's embarrassing, just failing to stand on one leg. Oh, that's that good shit. Oh, that's that good hiney motion. Right then, I guess. No more pissing about. Just get going.
Now, I'd be lying if I said I felt great, and I'm sure none of you would believe me after you've just seen me seemingly forget how to use my own actual legs. But I was running. I just wasn't very happy about it.
Started getting this really sharp pain in my chest. Luckily not on the heart side. Alright, fine, this is a bit more difficult than I thought. End video. Fine, I'll do a fucking marathon.
It hurt, but I knew I could keep going. And keep going I did. I was no rocket ship, but look at me go, people. Fueled on out-of-date items from a corner shop and a little bit of hope. God knows where I'd ran to, but I was halfway.
She is team. My halfway point. A beautiful, beautiful bridge. Do a little build-up of music here. I think I'm gonna have to try and find a shop up here because I am once again near civilization. I never thought it would happen. Oh, I have arrived.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I refueled again on whatever my little mitts found in a corner shop.
That looks like Runna food.
And proceeded to walk as I consumed something that most likely would wreak havoc with my insides.
I can feel my legs seizing up by the second. That's why I've tried to eat while walking this time, but it's not feeling good. Probably not the best thing.
And neither was anything I was consuming, but it had got me over halfway, and although I was a bit worse for wear,
Cramping. Not very nice at all.
I wasn't going to let one minor obstacle stop me.
And I think the person running in front of me has just farted. Oh my god. Brilliant.
Okay, but 3 in a row might stop me, and even though I was a long way into the run now, I also had such a long way still to go. Every step I cramped, I had very little energy to rely on, and it now felt like it was as much of a mental battle as a physical one.
So many times I've been like, oh, I could just give up here.
The final stretch felt like hell, and the kilometres felt like they were ticking down slower and slower. All of the fun it looked like everyone had after the marathon here a few weeks before was nowhere to be seen.
Walked about 700 metres. Let's just lock the fuck in right now. That's the sunset. Might be finishing in the fucking dark. My legs are in absolute pieces now. And I feel so miserable.
And like a drunken bachelor on a Saturday night, despite all my issues I struggled with, I was determined to finish.
Both of them are gone. Oh, God.
Now I'll be honest, if I hated running before, 30 plus kilometres and a snack list that would make Jamie Oliver require therapy did not help. And even though I had just a few kilometres remaining, they just became more and more painful and less rewarding.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Final 3k. Just 3 more k. 350 metres to go. Okay. Last 100 metres. 20 metres. 10. Fucking done it.
So there it was, my marathon. And although I felt a sense of achievement, I can't help but feel it fell quite flat.
Honey, I'm home. Well, that's very lackluster.
See, what I didn't consider is not only the amount preparation actually helps you in completing the race, but it's sort of like the build-up to yours and thousands of other people's big moments. So I needed to change 2 things. Run an actual race, and actually run beforehand. But how am I going to go about doing that? So our little race driver has finished his race, but it feels like he missed out on podium. I think he needs direction. I think he needs his Toto Wolff. And with Runna in hand, you've got all the information you need to improve your running. You just need to let it know what you're running for.
So with the Sydney Marathon as my target, Runna had set out a training plan to fit my schedule on the time I wanted to beat. Okay, so it's week 2 now, and I've got a little interval run that I've been set to do today. So a kilometre at a conversational pace, 100 metres of walking, another kilometre, equating to 5.5k. So it's like trying to get your speed up whilst also having a little bit of endurance. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. George, we think you're so hot and attractive. That's what the birds are singing. I am a go. Little 1 kilometre warm-up pace. I've realised running's slightly more enjoyable when you're not trying to kill yourself doing a marathon up run. Right, there we go. Warm-up kilometre done. It felt fairly conversational. Me and my pals were loving it, weren't we, guys?
Oh yeah, I love running.
With my own little personal runner voice in my ear telling me how fast to run, it felt like everything was set out in front of me. Easy to understand, easy to fit around my schedule. Okay, so my schedule got a little bit more full, and I couldn't risk injuring myself in Sydney, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do dumb stuff like this. So as I danced away, chucking my hips about, streamed live to the care homes of Britain, I knew at some point these dancing feet would stop, and they'd have to get running again.
Weather is slightly different to when we were training last time, but I'm back, baby.
And so with the warm weather in Sydney long gone, we'd switched up, donned the beanie and told Runna to prepare us a plan for Tokyo. New year, new destination, same goal.
16k today. Apparently that's supposed to be easy. Tell the legs that. Granted, probably shouldn't be doing it at 1 a.m.
But thanks to Runna, I was being held accountable. I knew when I needed to run, how long for, and at what intensity. I previously shied away from the prospect of a 5k. But now...
First 20k today. That's quite scary. That's basically a half marathon. I'm not going to stand here and say that I've fallen in love with running, but I'm liking it more than I did. I don't know what clip's going to follow this. It could be me literally in an ambulance.
Right, so I've done the first 6.5 kilometres at a conversational pace. Then we've got 3 increments of 4.5 kilometres at different paces. And we'll see how we go. But currently, I'm not feeling awful.
Listen to me waffling like I have any clue of what any of that means. I just trust the information the experts have put onto Runna and regurgitate it as my own. Don't be fooled.
Okay, so I think I've got less than a kilometre left. My knees doth hurt, and my legs are starting to ache on the off days.
But luckily, after this 20k, I wasn't regurgitating a lung. But my schedule was about to get a lot busier again.
But luckily, whilst I'm on tour with Strictly, I think I should have a trick up my sleeve.
Meet Gina. Whilst I was on the Strictly tour, she was the woman tasked with professionally rubbing my legs. Because, like Gina when reaching the top of my thigh, I didn't want anything I'd previously kept in order to slip out. So as we did shows, sometimes multiple times a day, I could also run in whatever city we ended up in, safe in the knowledge that Gina would be there, so I could recover and keep going. So that was life for a while. We'd do a show, I'd go on a run, and then I'd see Gina. Show, run, Gina. Show, run.
Oh, I've taken a wrong turn on Buttbeak, down Hermione Crescent.
It's not worth it.
And Gina. And all of that was well and good, but Gina wasn't going to be there by my side with me on my next run. The longest run of the whole training block.
Okay, we've just had 2 double show days of the Strictly tour. Got in from a 4.5 hour drive from Glasgow to Nottingham at 3 a.m. last night. And now I've got to run a 32 kilometres run.
Oh, I pulled a hammy. I'm gonna have to find the nearest rest stop.
So I tried my best to put all I'd learned so far into practice. It was a Monday, which meant a day off in the Strictly calendar. So what better way to spend it than doing 32 kilometres?
8 kilometres in, I think it's probably time for my first gel. I usually just listen to whatever the hell Spotify suggests me to play, but I've decided to listen to the bloody Batch and Arthur podcast today. So I think I'm running quicker, because the sooner I finish my run, the sooner I stop listening to them. Anyway, apple flavour.
And would you look at that, our little racer all grown up. Now those little gels may seem small, but they are vital if you want to refuel and keep that engine running. It's also even more vital that you practice with them, because you wouldn't want to come to race day and your car not know how to deal with it, and it just sort of leak out through your exhaust pipe. Yep, preparation is important. Alright, I'm going to go and throw up. As you were.
First 15k complete, almost halfway there. I've been running still during the duration of a singular Batch and Arthur episode, so I'm using that as a good sign.
So we were now about halfway through and things were going well. But you might notice that fuel bar, despite the gels, is desperately low. The overnight bus and double show days were catching up to me.
I stopped. I'm 17 kilometers in right now. I'm so tired. 2 double show days in a row and then a overnight bus, which I may have consumed a little bit of alcohol on. Perhaps not the best idea to run a 32 kilometers afterwards. I want to finish it. I also want to get home and get some sleep. I don't want to say I've skimped, because after this, the next long run is the marathon. And that's quite scary, actually.
Okay, run done. I only did 23k, which I'm not overly happy with. What I'm realizing is I may be getting fitter, but I'm not getting any cleverer. I need to actually prepare. I was hoping I'd finish today and be like, hey, bring on that marathon. But honestly, I'm a little bit worried. I'm gonna have a shower, a cry, and a lie down.
So not only was that 32 kilometres incomplete, the podcast tour had started, which meant I was travelling around even more, and perhaps more importantly, meant I had no more time for Gina. But I had multiple weeks to go, even more runs to go, and a goal I still wanted to achieve. So I ran as if I had something to prove, and that big setback was followed by a small victory, and I ran my quickest 6 kilometres yet.
Finished the run. 6k easy run. You can tell by the fact that I'm choking on a lung right now. Average pace, 4 minutes 20. I'm feeling a little bit more confident for the marathon now.
And so I kept pushing myself, because although Runna could tell me how to do it, it's my job to put it into action.
Today was a half marathon. This was meant to be conversational pace, but I'm currently 19 kilometers in, and I'm running 5-minute kilometers. I don't know, there's hope yet. Not for me holding a phone steadily, but in terms of running.
And I'll be honest, the last few weeks of my training were a bit of a blur. I kept running and genuinely found enjoyment in going out and putting one foot in front of the other. The podcast tour was incredible fun, and I got to see and meet so many of you who allow me to spend time to challenge myself in silly ways like this. And the Strictly tour came to an end, but with one final, maybe slightly bigger win than the others. And so when I came to the end of that final run of training, it felt like I'd done all I can. So much had happened since I'd set out on that first marathon without a clue, and now it was time to see just how much I'd learned, and if that training was really worth it.
So I go to Tokyo tomorrow. This is the final run. Here's hoping I don't just pull something in the last 5 kilometers. That would be very awkward. Just 800 meters of a cool down to go, and then I'm getting on a plane to Tokyo. I hope I haven't read this wrong and it's not some sort of animated adventure, because it was all in Japanese. I do think it's a marathon. There we go. The last run done. A lot has happened since I ran that marathon untrained, so fingers crossed it's been positive.
And now that it's over, boom! I've crash landed in Tokyo. It's crazy.
It's been a long flight. I've not eaten in a while, so luckily my Just Eat driver is here with me.
Did somebody say just eat?
What I will say is I'm here to pick up my bib. They are employing far too many people for this. There are people in place at the end of lines telling people that it's the end of a line.
So here I was at the Tokyo Marathon Expo, surrounded by people who'd all put in months of training leading up to this moment, and able to enjoy the delights that the running world had to offer.
That is horrendous. I just had chewing gum. It tastes like sweat. Thank you. Represent out here. It's crazy, this year's race winner is right there. It does look a little bit like a list of the dead. Oh, Farrell snapped me.
Got cracked by Thanos in the night, that's crazy.
All jokes aside, I was starting to feel the vibes I felt surrounding my friends completing the London Marathon all those months ago. I mean, there are things you can get out of an official marathon that you just don't get out of running down the Thames.
What the hell is that? What the hell is even that? What's that got to do with a race day? I think I got a chance. I might crack him tonight.
Look at me, taking in marathon vibes.
Look at this, it's crazy. There's all sorts. There's even... What?
Oh my god, I'm
Welcome to Tokyo.
And after receiving some tips from Kenichi Ronald McDonald, I went home, filled my belly with bowl upon bowl of pasta, and went to bed. Because tomorrow was race day.
It's race day. I've just picked up some turkey. Got some wedges, bacon, and egg. That seems like all key food groups. And I also got pancakes and syrup. But today, I conquer Tokyo.
And as I made it down to the course, I was genuinely excited. There was a buzz in the air, and that sort of distracted me from the fact that I was here to do something that almost killed me 6 months ago. This time I felt positive, but most of all, I felt prepared. Almost.
I didn't put my bloody number on, so I just try and figure out how to do that. Jesus, this is going awful.
Everyone make sure you don't
Look, did it! Yay, you did it! I don't know if that actually matters to you. I haven't done a marathon yet.
And only a few toilet breaks, which were either down to nerves or too many liquid carbs, stood between me and my starting group.
No turning back now, man. Just gotta run and run and run.
Through the hard times of living, I have to celebrate you, baby. I have to praise you like I should.
Away we go. See you later.
And so I was underway. I felt well fueled. I had gels in my bag ready to go, and I felt prepared.
Already done our first kilometre. This is pretty cool. Granted, I've always been tripped up 18 times, but outside of that, look at this stuff.
And that same feeling carried on. I felt comfortable through each kilometre. Japanese people from all walks of life were covering the sidelines, and whilst I have absolutely no idea what they were saying, it felt like, and I shan't do the accent, "Keep going, Caucasian gentlemen. I can tell that the fantastic training app Runna has turned you into a freaking athlete." Or something along those lines.
7 kilometres in, and it's time for my first gel. We've got tropical flavour. I feel like now's a good time to say thank you to you guys, because it's only when you come out to Japan you realise quite how global you are. I mean, look at this.
They must have noticed my dancing hips. But honestly, I surprised myself. In the lead up to the race, my challenges that I'd faced before were running around my head. I didn't want to feel like that again. But as I passed the point in the Untrained Marathon where I started to feel my legs go, and coming up to the point in the 32 kilometres where I felt I had to take a break, I didn't want to slow down. I was actually quite enjoying it.
14k in. Time for my second gel.
At this point I was creeping up on halfway into the race. During the previous marathon I was dreading turning back round and counting down each kilometre. But I hadn't looked at my watch in miles. I was just looking at the side waiting for some sweat-flavoured water or some familiar faces.
Right, just crossed halfway, half marathon done. Just saw the Runner team and Yaz, and that was a nice little pick-me-up. Definitely beats doing this whole thing by yourself. Okay, 28k, gel time.
Now, you might have noticed that announcement of the gel seemed a little less enthusiastic.
See, our driver is well fueled. He's coming into the pits when needed, and he's trained as much as he can. But it's a mental game out there too. You're out there for hours. You feel like everything's going well. And then suddenly you hit a wall. Granted, that is much worse when it's actually driving.
It's really getting quite challenging now. We keep going.
Just like that, my whole vibe seemed to change. I'd heard people say that 2/3 of a marathon are run in training, the rest is on race day, but now I was living it. Things started to slow down, my smile started to fade, and I started to remember some of those doubts I had before the race.
I am really struggling. 35k. Right last Jill.
And with just 7 kilometers to go, I started looking at my watch more and more, noticing how slow it was counting down those kilometers. I'd walked lots of this last stretch last time. My last long run I'd quit before even getting here, and now a distance that in training was classed as a short run felt like a marathon itself.
I'll be honest, I felt better.
And I honestly contemplated dropping out. It felt like I couldn't keep going. I started walking again at points. I didn't think my legs could carry on. But they did. And as I looked up, I saw a bit of light in this tunnel I'd been running.
Right. Just under 2k to go.
And after one of the busiest 6 months of my life, I didn't want to give up. I'd learned a lot about myself in that time. And each and every person who I was running with would have been training through whatever highs and lows they'd had in their lives. When I was running by myself, there was no real reason, and I was alone. Now, despite months of shows and travelling and one of the most exposing processes of my life, I trained through it. I was running for a cause which means a lot to me, and I was doing so with so many other people, with so many other reasons. So as I turned onto that final straight, I reflected on my original question. Yes, you may be able to run a marathon without training, but I think the training is what brings it all together and makes it worth it.
We did it. Oh my god.
Cheers.
Oh, and if all that sentimental bollocks doesn't make you think it's worth it.
Runna also helped me cut an hour off of my marathon time. So I would suggest that you go down to the link in my description and download them to give them a try for yourself. And whilst you're there, use my code. And hey, why not subscribe to me as well?